Hi, it's neither guinea nor pig, and today I thought I would show you the bare bones of my cage, as I get a lot of questions about how big it is, how much space it takes up, whether or not it's easy to clean, where I got it, things like that. So I first want to mention that when you're getting a pig, you never want to get a single pig. Pigs are herd animals. They do best in groups of pairs or more, so that means 2 pigs or more. They require a lot of space. Pet store cages at the largest say that they can hold 2 pigs. That's really not true. The pet store cages are small in reality to what guinea pigs need to live a healthy lifestyle. So I'm going to attach a picture of cage guidelines, which is from the guineapigcagestore.com. And I'm going to read out the information. You can follow along or just skip over this part if you know it already. But if you have 1 pig, the minimum size your cage should be is 7.5 square feet, but bigger is better, and suggested size is 10.5 square feet. That's equivalent to a 2x4 CNC cage. Grids are larger than 12 inches. They're about 14 inches, so they're quite big. They take up a lot of space. So as I'm saying, guinea pigs need much more space than pet store cages give them. Lots of times, pet store cages are actually smaller than 7.5 square feet. So you need to go up in a size, make your own cage, buy a cage somewhere else, because pet store cages do not cut it. If you have 2 pigs, and you should have at least 2 pigs, the minimum size your cage should be is 7.5 square feet. Again, this is very small for pigs. That's about 2x3 in grid size for a CNC cage. The suggested size is 10.5 square feet and 2x4 grids. I just want to say my guinea pigs are in this makeshift playpen because I'm cleaning their cage currently. While recording this video, they are very rarely in such a small space because, again, like I said, guinea pigs need lots of space to run around and do what guinea pigs do, which is have giant poo parties everywhere. When I first adopted Latte, she came with her sister Chai. Chai has since passed away. She had an abscess, and that was really traumatic for me. But I originally had them in a 2x4 cage. I upgraded them maybe about a year ago into a 2x5, and then Chai passed away and I adopted Marmalade, and then we got Madeline, so it was a smart decision on my part, but I didn't know that that was going to happen or be the case. So if you have 3 pigs like I do, the minimum cage is a 2x4 CNC cage, which is equivalent to 10.5 square feet. However, the suggested size is a 2x5, which is what the girls live in, and that's 13 square feet. So it's really big. You have to have a lot of space for guinea pigs, and I cannot stress that enough. If you have more than 3 guinea pigs, you want to go up more than that. So the more pigs you have in the herd, the bigger space you're going to need. It is a lot. You have to be willing to sacrifice a big chunk of your wall or a hallway, something that the cage can be placed alongside of. So you need to really be paying attention in regards to how much space you're willing to give or able to give a guinea pig before you adopt one. So this is the very backbone of the girls' cage. The Coroplast is not in there yet. I just wanted to show you what the setup looks like without it inside of it, because I know that the decorations can be a little bit distracting. So I have 8 of these plexiglass windows. They're called pictures. They're from the guinea pig cagestore.com. Everything that is Coroplast and cage related is actually from the guinea pig cagestore.com. At the time that I was making my cage and looking and doing research about guinea pig requirements, I was having a really hard time finding Coroplast in local stores near me. Now that might not be the case for where you are. It's definitely cheaper to make your own cage if you can. Lots of sign shops, Home Depot, Lowe's, construction shops like that will have Coroplast for relatively cheap. I do just want to tell you that it does come in a very, very large sheet. I think it comes something like 96 inches by 48 inches, and so you have to have it scored and not cut. Otherwise, if you cut it, then they're no longer waterproof, and they won't be able to keep the pee in as well, although I'm sure you could super glue them. In fact, it is a cheaper solution. I, at the time, was unable to find some in a local store near me, so I ended up purchasing the cage off the guineapigcagestore.com, and I had a lot of success with them. So if you don't have that option, look online to see if you can find a Coroplast cage store that you feel comfortable ordering from, and have a blast. Okay, so as I was saying, I have 8 pictures, 1, 2, 3, 4 in the front, 8 along the wall in the back, and then I have a total of 12 square grids, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then 2 that go on the bottom right there, which is 11, 12. And then I have 2 half circle grids. I'm not really sure what they call them online, but I have 2 of those. And so that's what keeps the pigs inside the cage. Then I also have this piggy canopy, I believe it's what it's called. And that's just a piece of pink coroplast that opens up and down, so I have easy access to cleaning in the cage, and it also provides protection for the girls so they don't feel totally exposed. So my girls live in a 2x5 CNC cage, and that means that there's 5 grids, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 across, and also 2 grids for the width going backwards. I also have a loft, and the loft is equivalent to another full grid. So that really means that my cage takes up the equivalent of a 2x6, even though the coroplast base of the cage is a 2x5. So I get a lot of questions about how my loft is situated outside of the cage, and it's really just attaching a bunch of zip ties to the grids to help support the weight of the loft. Zip ties will be your very best friend if you have a CNC cage. They just help make the grids be a little bit sturdier in weak spots. So as you can see, I have the 2 grids against the back wall, which you need no matter what because you need to have grids surrounding your entire cage. And then I have 2 to support the bottom of the loft. 1, 2, 3, 4 to do the sides to wrap around the loft. And we have those 2 half square grids on either side. I think these are semi-new to the guineapigcagestore.com. I don't know how long they've had them in stock, but they were new to me when I was interested in putting this loft/balcony outside of the cage so it would be easier to clean the cage daily when I spot sweep for their poos. So that's how the loft is situated back here. Again, I reinforce all my grids with zip ties. As you can see, I have a bunch sort of here and there supporting the grids, attaching them at different angles where a connector is not possible. It just makes the cage a little bit more secure. It gives me a peace of mind knowing that things are extra tight around the edges, nothing's very flimsy. So this is still very much the backbone to my cage. I get a lot of questions about where I got my cage. I got all of the stuff for my cage from the guineapigcagestore.com. The piggy kitchen, this pink part right there, the 2 ramps, the pink loft with the coroplast, that is from the guineapigcages.com. I get a lot of questions about the flower designing on the outside of my cage. That is actually individual sheets of laminated paper that I have stuck underneath the chew guards, which are the white trimming at the top, which you can see right here. And then I duct taped them to the very bottom of the cage so you can't see them. It's really simple. Unfortunately, you can't get coroplast with super cute prints on them, and that, I feel, is a big drawback to people, is that coroplast comes only in solid colors, and you have to pay a little bit extra depending on where you go to get your coroplast for the color you want, and it gets kind of boring after a while. Like, people don't want to have their cage look exactly like everyone else's, but I think coroplast is actually a lot of fun to work with because you can glue things to it, you can tape things to it, you can laminate paper to it, you can design a castle template on top of your plain and boring coroplast. The coroplast shield, I guess that's what I call it, or a coroplast partition, which is this piece of coroplast that everything is taped or glued on top of. It's also from the Guinea Pig Market. I asked them to help me design my current loft, which used to only have this 1 ramp, to have 2, and we realized that the minute you cut this piece of coroplast where this opening is, this front part of the loft is no longer supported. So we had to figure out a way to reinforce the wall without me purchasing another loft. So we attached just a normal white piece of coroplast. This is it from the back side, but as you can see, it's just clear coroplast, and we attached it with these rivets that the Guinea Pig Cages store sells. And then I attached this coroplast with a simple necklace hook and zip ties. Again, zip ties will forever be your best friend. And then I decorated it. It's really simple to make coroplast into something that's fun and creative. You can change the design if you want. You can do lots of things with coroplast that I feel you can't do with pet store cages because they're very much one size fits all, and that's not the case at all for guinea pigs. They need lots more than just a basic cage. They need things to hide in, things to play in, things to chew on, things to push around, enough room to popcorn and Zumi around the cage. They need a place for their food and water and possibly a place to go to the bathroom if you can get your guinea pig to be litter box trained, and it can't all be in this tiny store-bought cage. So I just want to reiterate again that guinea pigs need a lot of space. This cage setup that I have is about 84 inches, which is 7 feet in length, by 30 inches, which is 2.6 feet in width. It takes up a lot of space. It takes up my entire wall. And it also comes out into my room quite a bit, so I don't have as much space in my room for myself. It's also the right amount of space for them. Think about what you're willing to sacrifice in terms of space when you're thinking about getting pets. Don't go with the bare minimum. Bigger is certainly always better. Just be mindful because they're living creatures too.